Okay, go.
Hello, and welcome to the Modern Romantic podcast, where we celebrate romanticism through featuring passionate people doing some incredible things and honestly bringing a community together that I'm already getting emotional. I am Trey. I'm your resident stage mom and your emotional support co host.
Hold
Here to
hold up a
remind you
sec.
to bring.
Hold up a sec. Something is terribly wrong with our screen.
Oh
I'm
no!
sorry. Give me a second here. I don't know what happened. I'm trying to fix it.
It's all good.
It's doing a thing. Hold on. Let me fix this.
Okay.
That was good. That was good. You can keep talking, but it's just
It's okay.
yeah, it's doing something terrible.
Um,
There we go.
well, like we said, my name is Trey. I am your resident stage mom. I am your emotional support co-host tonight. I will probably be sobbing through a lot of this, but we are here to remind you to bring lots of water, tissues for tonight's episode. Um, Emily?
We're good now.
Okay.
We're good now. I'm Emily, and I will likely use all of that Kleenex, resulting in me needing all of that water. So tonight we have a very different episode. We're celebrating Joe Capone. He was known to many of you as Caponus. These are not the circumstances under which we wanted to celebrate his life, but we're happy that we have the opportunity to do so with so many of the fine people that he loved and supported. So that makes me personally very happy. And even if we didn't know you before, I'm glad that we know you now. And thank you for the follows and the subscriptions and the love. The love is why we're here.
To everyone in our live audience right now, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. We may know some of you, we may not know you, but we are happy to know you now. We are friends. We are coming to raid your fridge later. Um, Before we get
Yes.
started with tonight's episode in full, we would like to put out a disclaimer out there. We may have some younger audience members who might be listening or watching tonight's stream. We do want to let you know, and the caretakers of those younger audience members, that there may or may not be some adult language that is spoken. Cap was never one to mince words, so please be aware of that as we proceed forward. That there may be some some adult language that is spoken throughout tonight's stream. Um, with that being said, we also you'll notice that on the side of our stream tonight, that we do have a donation going through Nightbot, set up for donations to Cap's family. Um, I lied and said I was not going to cry, and I'm already crying, and we're like 2 minutes in.
I just want. Can I say something really quick? Maybe you can
Go
take a
for
second.
it.
I saw Vidur in the. I'm probably saying it wrong in the chat. I'm Amarin. Hi. Okay, go. We used to play Warcraft together a million years ago.
So tonight, I know it seems selfish to kind of start off with us talking about Cap first, and I think it's clear by everybody that we have in our chat right now, and I'm literally looking at all of the chat right here, and there's so much love and so much support, and I am so incredibly touched. And I know Cap would be too.
Yeah.
Cap was one of those individuals from from the first time that Emily and I started talking about doing our podcast, Cap was just there, and Emily was just like, "Here's our moderator. Here's Cap. We're doing this. Boom, and just go." And so, since the inception of this channel, Cap has been that person that has been one of our biggest supporters, always following up with us before streams, always talking to us about what image can I share for you. I want to share social media. I want to spread your word. I want to spread the good that you're doing. Was it mixed in with some major sass behind the camera? Yeah, and that's what I loved about it. Cap Cap knew exactly what to say, and could honestly make such a good joke. Um, he was always clipping things and always knowing the right things to clip, and just finding that like magic moment, and would just find like the right 30 seconds to highlight that. Um, so there are so many times that like I was scrolling back through our Facebook Messenger chat for the group that we have for this channel, and looking at the amount of things that he clipped for our channel, and it was probably in the hundreds of things, just 30-second clips. Um, what Cap I don't think knew is that I actually caught his stream twice. I didn't catch it often, but when I did, he was playing Stardew Valley both times. And both times he was spending a lot of time looking for a very specific kind of like item in there. He was playing with someone else and they were down in these mines. Um, and he was so happy when he actually found it because it was such a rare drop. But he spent forever trying to locate these different things, and it was so nice and so refreshing to see him play um, such a just a relaxing game and get so excited. He'd be like, yes, I found it, now I need just to find 6 more, and then just continue going forward. Cap and I didn't speak verbally a whole lot. A lot of it was through text and through chat and that sort of thing, but it was enough for me to say, for me to see how much of a good person he was. And then probably about a month ago is when I saw Emily and his quote unquote TikTok war over who is going to be the owner of Huckleberry.
My dog. Yeah.
Um, so while I may not have a lot of direct memories with Cap, what I will remember about him is how supportive he was, how he had a right eye for knowing things, for just crafting things in such a particular way, and could honestly keep the levity of a situation going um, when you didn't really know how to. So, so to that I say, Caponus, thank you. It was an honor. It was a pleasure. I already need a tissue. Okay.
You did it.
I
You did it.
Now I'm gonna go sob
did
into
it.
the endless void.
You know, there's so many things in the chat about what a great person he was, and I'm gonna cry reading them. I'm gonna have to watch this whole thing over again just to read that. Just so everybody knows, after this I'll be publishing this video, but I'll also put it on YouTube so everyone will have access to it. Okay. Well, we're running a little late, but I think we'll be okay. Before I start, I wanted to tell everyone what I did, because I just went ahead and did this. I thought it was kind of cool. You may have heard NASA is launching the Artemis 1. It will be the first uncrewed flight test of the Space Launch System rocket and the Orion spacecraft. The flight kind of paves the way toward landing the first woman and the first person of color on the moon. Artemis 1 will be the first in a series of increasingly complex missions to build a long-term human presence on the moon. So NASA is doing a program where you can you can put your name in to fly on Artemis 1 around the moon. And I got Joe's name on there. So Joe Capone gets to fly around the moon. And my sister, real quick, because my sister sent in a message she wanted me to read. I wanted to share that with you before I say my own thing. I'm not going to get through this. This is going to be hard. I'm sorry.
You could do this.
I can do this. She wrote, "Hey Cap, it's the FG. FG stands for Frog Goddess. Just because you're keeping tabs on us now from above doesn't mean I can't still plague you with frogs. Miss you, the Frog Goddess." My sister loves frogs. You might have guessed that. Okay. Joe is one of my best friends. I met him through my sister in 2006 or so, through Warcraft, and he has been one of the most supportive fiercely loyal and funniest best friends anyone could ever want. He was amazing to his surrounding community, to all of you and me, gamers, online streamers, his local wrestling community, the radio show guys he knew, just everyone he came into contact with. I saw him be amazing too. And it's hard to believe a day could go by without a silly message from him. There were days when I'd get, and so many of you probably did too, like 20 YouTube video links in a row. And you'd be like, I can't possibly keep up with this. But the world will not be the same without Joe Capone. I wanted to show the video of the Huckleberry War. I'll do that really quick so you guys can see that. Here, let me find that. Give me just a moment here. There we go.
Because I told my friend Emily I was gonna do this. Am I TikTok famous yet?
Okay, and this is when he was gonna steal the dog.
I told my friend Emily I was gonna do this. My dog.
But he's my dog.
Now you're just rubbing salt in the wounds, lady. Give me that dog.
Wow.
Such a good boy.
And then I'll show you this last one.
Lullaby and good night. Those sweet puppy eyes close and be a good boy. Go to sleep. I'll pick you up in the morning.
So, he had such personality. So I have two short stories I wanted to tell. One of them is, some of you have heard before, it was about 12 years ago. Cap called me really late at night and he was distraught. He was very upset. And it was, I didn't know him terribly well. I mean, I knew him, but not like, we weren't very close yet. And so I'm like pacing my living room floor, trying to calm him down, trying to figure out what's going on. He's just like beside himself, upset. And I was on the phone with him for like an hour, trying to like get him to talk to me. Like, what is going on? You're upset. I'm glad you called me. What can I do to help? And so, getting him to tell me what was going on was really hard. And he finally said, Emily, I killed a guy. And I was like, oh, what do I do with this information? What do I do with this information? And I was like, okay, all right. He's trusting me with this. Like, I need to react accordingly. Did it happen today, Cap? And he said no. And then he's like, I just can't. And I was like, what? Like, how did it happen? What's going on? And then he starts laughing. He started laughing. He's like, I can't do this to you anymore. He's like, I totally made the whole thing up. And I was like, Kev, I hate you. I hate you. He's like, you love me and you know it. I spent an hour on the phone trying to calm him down and the whole thing was a joke. He played it. He played me. It was good. Good job. And then another time was when I was getting ready to show a fashion collection. It was my very first fashion week. I was an emerging fashion designer. It was a big deal to me. It was a part of a competition, and he was really rooting for me and showing a lot of support. It was really awesome. And one day, a few days before the show, he actually shipped me a box, and he said, "This is your good luck charm for the show." And it was like this little sword. It was a red, kind of a. I moved and I need to find it, but it's like a little, almost a dagger. Anyway, he wrote this handwritten note and he knew that I liked swords. So it was really cool for him to send me this physical good luck charm, and it meant a lot. And I'd like to believe that that's part of why I won the competition, because I did win. And he shared it on social media. He was so proud, and it was so nice to be supported that way. It was really true friendship. And yeah, I'm sorry for those that were interrupted by an ad just now. But he really knew how to encourage and support me, and to kind of encourage me toward excellence. That was one thing he did. He believed in quality, and sometimes he might have even gotten a little pushy with that. You might relate. It felt critical at times, sometimes, and I wanted to say, don't tell me what to do. Do it like but he was generally right. I needed to fix my lighting for the podcast here, for my stream, and he was right. I needed to fix it. I was basically in the dark. And I needed to promote myself better on social media, and he was right. I'm not good at that. He was for a kick in the butt when you needed it, for sure. And I think the worst part, dang it, is that we all have to go live the rest of our lives not getting a text, a call, a message from him, or a meme, a jab, a kick in the butt from him. But we can keep him alive by carrying with us what he taught us about friendship. So I've made a list. Ready? It's short. Be fiercely loyal. Be a big softie. Try the new flavor of Peeps, Mountain Dew, PopTarts, or whatever, even if you think you won't like it. Cheer for the Giants and wear blue. Laugh big. Love big. And shamelessly, openly, and wildly support and cheer on your friends. That's it. Okay. I did it.
Yay!
Now we have Saruchi coming on.
While we're getting Saruchi on, now is going to be a marvelous time to please, if you don't have tissues nearby, please grab tissues. Please hydrate. We do have an emote in the chat that you can redeem. I'm sorry.
Channel points.
Thank you. You can redeem channel points to toast Captonite. That is in our chat. That also works for hydration. But we would very much like to welcome you all to Saruchi. Hi, Saruchi.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm Saruchi. Some of you may know me as Karensa. And I'm also going to try to get through this without getting emotional. It's easy to reel your emotions in when it's just by yourself, thinking and handling everything that's been going on the past week. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. There's just a few things that I wanted to say. I've known Joe for a really long time. And I met him probably how most of you ended up meeting him, through somebody else who introduced you to Joe. Joe has also introduced me to so many other people that I see. I see so many people in chat that I recognize, that I've talked to over the past week. But I don't know about you guys, but I can't tell you how many times over this past week I've just thought to myself, well, let me just ask Joe. He'll know the answer. And then I have to remember that I can't do that. I met Joe through a friend named Dan who played World of Warcraft with Joe, and I ended up getting to know Joe through the World of Warcraft community. He's always been very social, very welcoming. He's always true to himself, and he wasn't going to censor himself for anybody, but at the same time, he was so respectful, and he was an ally to so many people. He was friendly and supportive, and he would always step up to bat for you in a heartbeat if you were his friend. And because of Joe, I've made so many new friendships, and I'm not ever going to forget him. The only thing that I can do is keep him alive in my heart. And like Emily, I used to get a lot of video messages in the middle of the night. I'd wake up to 20 and not know how to deal with it, and look at a few of them and respond to as many as I could. or I'd get confused because I didn't know what we were talking about, but there were so many videos or so many links, or he'd be sending me sound messages relating to wrestling, which I knew nothing about, but he would talk for hours about wrestling. But I'm gonna miss Joe, and I know everybody else is gonna miss Joe, and I'm just gonna end here before I get emotional. Thank you so much.
You're doing great. Thank you for coming on. That was awesome. He meant so much to all of us.
He did.
Yeah. Well, we've got Frasley next. Right.
Thank you so much, Saruchi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Up next, we have Frasley on. Darling Fae folk of the realm and everybody abroad, please give a warm welcome to Frasley. Hello.
We can't hear you. Sorry, Frasley. There we go.
Cap would have been the one to tell me I was muted as well. And there are many times I've been coming to one of my streams and I've been muted. As I said on Twitter earlier, I did not want this tonight to be here because this feels like, as of this moment forward, sorry, my friend screen gone. I met Cap through the Lagging Balls community, and he started listening to my podcast. He started watching me as I streamed, and we would talk. We had many private calls and things I don't ever want to share because it's it's those sacred moments between friends and those sacred things. And I talked with him about so many things that are clean, things that are explicit, all the things. And he was just always he was crass, he was vulgar, but if you were his friend, he loved you. And I can definitely understand I can relate to all the messages. Sometimes I would just be overwhelmed. I not know what to say to him at all, but he would always be there. One of the biggest things about Cap that I want to stress was the best. Sorry, my neighbors are okay, this is gonna be a Cap moment. My neighbors are playing music out loud. And Cap would have been, knock it off, you animals! That would have been Cap. That would have been Cap. Anyway, I am just I started transitioning in 2020, and I remember the first DM after I wore a dress, and I'm wearing one dress that I wore as I was that I love, but also one that I was wore that as I was working on transitioning. Cap said, "Listen, Fraz, it's going to take a little while for me to get used to, but I love you, I support you, and if it's what you want, I'm there with you 100%. That's an ally. That is an ally. That he was honest with me. He didn't understand being trans, and that was okay. But he would always be like, I'm going to support you. And there'd be times people would misgender me in my own chat and on Twitter and anywhere. He would be like, no, it's she, her, and you will get it right, you dipshit. He would say that to people all the time. And I mean, it's just it was him. It was him. And he'd tell me, and again, I know this cursing, but it's just Cap. He would say, don't care about anybody else, because if they don't like you, they can fuck off. If people don't like you, it's on them and not you. And I've lost so many friends over the years for so many different reasons, and Cap was always just there. I don't want to talk and ramble because there's something I could say, but he was just amazing, and he always made me to laugh. And I'm gonna end with one of the laughs I will never hear on my stream again, because whenever he would enter my chat, this would play, and I won't hear this again. Oh my god. Thank you.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Mm.
And I'm done. I'm just
Okay. All right. I was just.
You're good. You're good. I have nothing more to say.
Rob Apollyon. I recognize that name. I think we've rated Rob Apollyon before. Cap would raid my streams all the time and send tons of other creators to follow, and offered to help with basically anything and refused any kind of payment. That is absolutely true.
Yes.
Yeah, you would have to just kind of ambush him with something in order to get him to accept payment for anything. You'd have to just like ninja send stuff to his house or something, because he wasn't gonna. Yeah, he was definitely everyone's biggest supporter.
And one thing I forgot to mention about Cap is he supported everybody. Some people I know in chat, like Sarusi. I met Sarusi through Cap. So many people I met through Cap, and it's like I think I see people in chat that like he said one night he just said at the end of one of my streams, "Hey, raid this person." I did, and like I then found people that I ended up loving and wanting to be friends with, and just he was somebody who brought people together, and he always seemed to know what would fit with somebody and like who somebody would like. He was that networker, that manager, that promoter, and he had stories. He had so many stories.
Yeah.
I do have to ask, what's your favorite story that Cap told you?
I think the favorite story was like some of the things that like he would do to callers when they called up his show or like trolling him, and he just some of the things he said. Some of them I really cannot repeat here, because sometimes he was on my stream, I'd just be sitting there like, Cap, I don't think I need to be hearing this right now on stream, but tell me later. And he would tell me later. Oh, but yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just like.
That's okay.
Emotions.
You do what you need to do. This is a tough night. I've been telling myself for 4 days, if I can just get through Monday night. You know, it's not true, because there's still tomorrow. I read Just BCA said I was homeless and as broke as he was, and he found a way to feed me. When I got a job and offered to pay him, he refused to take it. And Rob said, I was such a small streamer at the time that I straight up didn't think you guys were real. I thought you were some kind of scam bot, but he popped up and said, no, they were totally real, and I wanted them to see your stream. And Pat Patriot said, I didn't know Cap, but maybe the last 6 months I absolutely loved chatting with him during his Tecmo Bowl games. From day one I followed him. He made me feel as family. Oh, there are a lot of toasts to Caponus being redeemed. Let's do that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get through all this. To Caponus. Yes. Oh.
And I don't mean keep meaning to like add in, but I do want to say like he was somebody I didn't always agree with, but that was okay, and he didn't care, because he still loved you, and I'm like, he and I had some serious disagreements on things, but we always were able to keep it friendly, and sometimes there were a few times I would have messaged him for a day or two because I was a little pissed off at him, but we always would come back.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you have a couple of people. Well, there were several people who sent in things that they wanted read on our live stream because they felt like that was the better way to go. And so Frasley has those to read if you're ready.
Absolutely. So there are no specific order, just what I put them into a document. The first one's from Allie, and Allie says, this is a hard loss. I went back through each message over the last few years. We often checked in on each other and supported each other. We chatted about Warcraft, the community surrounding it, life, and crazy flavors of Oreos. It breaks my heart knowing that I won't get those messages anymore. I won't see them pop up into mine or someone else's stream. Won't get the usual take care Allie DM. Capo had a large personality. He would be the first to tell you that he had minimal filters. He was opinionated and passionate about a lot of things. He wanted to see people succeed. He went out of his way to support and encourage friends and content creators. He had a way to make them feel seen, like they mattered. If you're having a bad day, We'd find a silly meme to make you smile. If your podcast or stream seemed like it needed art, he would jump on it without even being asked or asking for anything in return. I remember when he surprised me with the art of my podcast. I was absolutely blown away. The fact that someone would spend their time to create art for my rinky-dink little podcast was something that baffled and delighted me. But that is what he did. He had a question about how to set something up. He was quick with the messages to explain it. If you were discussing something he was interested in, he was actively an active participant. If you were a friend in need, he was there. If you were a friend of a friend even, he was there. That is who he was. That is how big his heart was. I don't think he realized how many people cared about him, how many people he touched. The outpouring of love since he passed is very evident of that. He left behind a hole that no one can fill. And he would have a smart-ass joke about that. It's up to us to carry his legacy, to show people that we care about them, that they matter. Have those involved conversations about your interests or life in general. Show love and have some fun along the way. I think that is what he would want. That is the way he lives on through us.
Thanks, Allie.
The next one comes from Cyrub. Cap is the people's champion. He used to come to my streams and help keep me entertained while I was figuring out how to even do Twitch. My favorite moment was when we were talking about old school pro wrestling and how funny the promos were back in the day. During this chat, he shared with me his Paul Bearer impression. Now, I know that this feels a bit weird with the characters involved in this story, but if you're not involved with pro wrestling, there's a character named The Undertaker, and he had a manager named Paul Bearer, who was absolutely ridiculous. Cap could do Mr. Bearer's voice to perfection. He shared a couple clips of him calling into a radio station as Paul Bearer, and it was absolutely hilarious. I was laughing so hard, I was crying. He put me at ease and helped me gain confidence. I like to remind my kids that truly great people don't need to tell others how great they are. They show it by their actions. Cap is the first person that comes to mind when I think of this philosophy. His legacy will be one of positivity, and he will live forever in the heart of this community. Rest well, Cap. I hope the Giants beat the Cowboys twice this year and every year for the rest of time.
I'll second that.
Yes. The next one comes from Shanty. From the time I met Cap in her streams, he was someone that I connected with and found inspiration. And this is, and the hers me, just, I forgot to add that context in here. The way he would fiercely defend Frasley and anyone else who had him as a mod was a testament of his character. This was the reason I trusted him to be my mod. He was always so supportive and encouraging as I was learning the ropes on Twitch and my streams, and many others won't be the same without him. He would let me know when I had forgotten to turn off settings that I had to combat hate raids. But speaking more to the man, I enjoyed all our conversations about wrestling and commiserating about the tough times of our respective football teams. The world needs more people who would build you up for the way he did. Wherever your journey has taken you, our friend, I wish you fair winds in a following sea. And then the last one comes from Zinashari. I met Cap on my stream before I started using a different computer. He helped me try to optimize it and make it better for the viewers. He also gave me advice on what I could stream without a gaming computer. He was a good friend. And I just want to add, like, all these, Cap would give advice. He gave me advice. He would give everybody advice. That was just who he was. Really, if he had done consultation, he would have made so much money from what he gave us. He gave us invaluable advice that, like, I still take to this day. I remember things that I'm always thinking, like, would Cap approve of how I did this? And he was a very good critic in a good way on quality. He wanted you to be a professional. He wanted you to be putting on a show, presenting. I mean, his biggest thing was authenticity. You better be authentically you, because otherwise your audience will know it. They'll know if you're bullshitting them. And that was his thing all the time. Be you. Don't be anyone else. Be you to the fullest.
That's right. Speaking of that, can we do something that what I meant to do at the beginning? I want everyone to feel free to share their channel in the chat. That's one thing that he would want. He would want everybody to be able to promote themselves, and everybody to go follow each other. I've been going through the chat and trying to follow all of you as I see you. So if you guys want to put your channel in the chat or like say something about what you stream, and then we can all go. We can have like a follow train or something. I don't know what to call it. But yeah, if we can do that. I think he would love that we all came together and became friends with each other.
Yes.
I mean, we all have this one really awesome person in common, and I think this is amazing.
One comment that I'd like to share from Kaz. Kaz said, I didn't know Cap very well, but every single time I got to chat with him in the stream, he'd always ask when I was going to stream and who I should stream. He was always so supportive and kind, would have some raunchy jokes here and there. He was a blast. I'm going to miss him in chat.
Did you have another one to read, Fresley?
That was all I had so far.
Okay.
Were there other ones?
That's all I know of. I think we gave you all of them. I hope that was okay.
Absolutely. I wanted to do anything I could because again, he meant so much to me. And again, I don't want to keep taking more time, but thank you for letting me share.
Oh no, it's fine. We're good. Thank you for posting your channel. Your channels, everyone. Yeah, go follow everyone. Just go do it. Everybody here is awesome. I've already been following a lot of you, I see. But if you have a channel and you stream, or if you want to post your social media, do that too. I've opened up links, so you're fine. And there is a Facebook group that we created for remembering Joe, and people have been posting pictures and their stories and memories, and it's really great because you actually get the time to sit there and read through all of them and comment. Oh, we have another toast to Joe Capone. So if you want to go ahead and join that, it's open, I think, and if it's not, I will definitely accept all of you. So you're good there. And feel free to share your stories there too. We'd love to read them. And he has family there in that group, so they will see those messages as well, which is really important. I think that's one thing that I realized was that, your parents don't always know about your relationships with your friends. And at least my parents don't. And if you are a parent, you don't always know, you don't know the ins and outs of your kids' friendships and or your brothers or sisters' friendships. And so I think it's important for his family to know how well loved he actually was. I think that's one really great relief for the grief. Wow, I did not mean that to rhyme. But I mean, it's a really great thing. That family has lost several people recently, and I think it's really important for them to know that Caponus, Joe, was as well loved and was such an awesome person.
I just realized I was going to have a podcast episode with him, and then my podcast went on hiatus because my life changed drastically, like in job, and I had to put on hiatus, and I was going to bring him back. I was going to bring Cap back for one of the first episodes, just like.
Yeah.
Emily, I do actually have a request.
Yes. What's that?
Do you mind if I sing for Cap?
Yeah, do it.
This is something. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you should. If you don't know Trey, he has like a massive degree in vocal performance, and he's amazing. So this is gonna be great.
Thank you. It is. I'm not gonna preface this. I'm just gonna sing it.
Do it. I think you'll all appreciate it.
So the preface is that we had a kind of a running joke on our channel of we would have Nightbot, who is our automated service, who would pop up every now and then and do like this toss a coin to your Twitcher, and that would actually go to supporting the moderators who would show up and do this job. And in love of The Witcher the series, one night I just started singing and just kind of playing up the parody of Toss a Coin to Your Witcher and changed it to Toss a Coin to Your Twitcher. And that was always my sign to our audience to go donate to Cap. So in honor of Cap, this is for you. Toss a coin to your Twitcher, O Valley of Plenty, O Valley of Plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your Twitcher, O Valley of Plenty.
By the way, all the donations and subscriptions from tonight are going to go toward helping Joe's family.
Thank you.
And thanks for the subs. I'm sorry I'm not catching all of them. Lex Rants, thank you. I know who you are. I'm glad you got my message. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Thank you, all of you, for being here. Oh my goodness. Thanks for all the subs, guys. This is going to be amazing.
I'm sorry, Narisia. Sorry about the ad. We will probably be doing something later on as well. But
we have another toast.
We've got another toast. Oh my God.
Thanks, Saruchi. That's amazing. And Ainsley, I recognize your name too. I know most of you because of Joe Capone.
If this unlocks partner, please apply for it, because Cap would love to have you apply for partner on this. So please, if it opens up, please apply for it. Please.
Oh, I definitely would. I hope it does. Thank you, guys. He would be so proud.
He would.
If you guys notice what Lex just wrote in the chat, does anyone specifically want to be subbed tonight but can't afford it? He'd rather give to specific folks, but he's happy to donate. That's really kind of you. Thank you. Frasley, are you good? We were gonna get Bricko on then. I hope
Absolutely.
I'm saying that right. Okay.
Frasley, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, and for reading. We appreciate that, and I cannot wait to see your next stream. Everybody go follow Frasley, and go follow Saruchi. Thank you. And everybody else, just go through the chat and follow everybody. That's what Cap would want. So I keep seeing names pop up. I need to follow. Okay. So we're bringing... go ahead.
Before we bring Bricko on, this is your resident stage mom and your emotional support co-host stepping in briefly. Please, if you don't already have tissues, please get some tissues.
Oh, we've got a toast going from J Step. Thank you, J Step.
Thank you, J Step.
When I cry, my chest gets tight and then my throat gets dry and then I can't talk. So this is wonderful.
And as we keep going, please, if you are a Twitch streamer and you knew Cap, please share your channel in our chat tonight. Thank you for sharing your socials. It is absolutely what Cap would have wanted.
Yes, we know. Oh, we know this. Sorry, it keeps popping up that my mic is muted. Sorry, guys.
Emily, I can't hear
there we
you
go.
anymore.
Yeah, I know. It keeps popping up that my mic was muted. Sorry, guys. Okay. So we'll bring Bricko on.
All right.
Thank you, Frasley.
Hey, Bricko.
Hi, guys.
Hi. Can you hear us okay?
Thanks so much for doing this. Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I'm not going to talk a whole lot outside of everybody that I recognize the name of in this chat is because of Cap. I know everybody's pretty much said it already. He's kind of the same person to all of us. We exchanged phone numbers, and I'd get a "Can I swear?" and
Oh,
use
absolutely.
Cap-isms.
Cap would.
He would. I'm a Viking fan, and he would text me out of the blue. It'll be 10:30 in the morning at work, and I'll get a text, and it says "Fuck Kirk Cousins." Hashtag "Fuck Kirk Cousins." I'm like, really? So then I was like, do not go Big Blue, whatever. So we would do that stuff. We got each other's phone numbers a year or so ago, and I thought it odd that I didn't hear from him here recently, obvious reasons. But he was such a big supporter of Demi and I when we started the Third Faction show, and he was always commenting with, "This show you should watch," or "Take this, listen to this podcast, listen to that podcast." He helped me. I'm pretty full go on stuff. So when I decided I wanted to stream, I thought, it's not going to be too difficult. I got this, whatever. Well, it was really tough, and he wouldn't let me stop. I couldn't do it as often as I'd like, but he wanted to push as much as he could to get me to do it because he really enjoyed coming and visiting, and then to the point where he'd ask me to do his Tecmo Bowl streams, and we just have such a blast. And Lystra is, every time we'd stream, we'd get to the end of our streams and he'd tell us someone to raid that we hadn't met yet or that we had before, and some of you are in here. So I guess thanks to everybody that's saying the nice words. Thanks to you guys for putting this together. I think the world of you all. I follow you now. He's been such a big supporter of yours, ours, everybody's. I'm going to miss you, Cap. I love you, brother. Never even met him in person.
Yeah, a lot of us didn't.
He'd clip this and make fun of me is what he'd do,
Yeah, someone clip this then, please.
Oh, I don't even know what clipping was. One time, Lister and I were doing the hardcore challenge. I don't remember if she was a priest. She's not a healer, and I was a warrior. And she did not want to heal, and I didn't pay attention to my health bar, and I went flying after level 5. I went flying after some bear and got dead. And it wasn't 20 minutes later I saw on Twitter that was clipped. It was Cap that did it and put it on for all to see. So his humor was only topped by his commitment to everybody he saw as a friend. I love seeing all this love in this chat, but I think I need to go really cry for a minute. So thank you guys for doing this. Thanks for having me. I love all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. And I'm so glad to hear your Joe Capone story.
Thank you so much, Brecco.
Thank you.
So in our chat, we had a message from, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, from T. Sorge, who said, "I was going through a nasty custody battle for more time with my girls, which I won." Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Cap would message me with a ton of encouragement. He said, "I know it's not over till it's over, but sending positive vibes, that shit does end up in your favor." I can only imagine how much stress you've been under the last few years, and in addition to all this COVID bullshit.
I mean, he changed actual lives. if you're part of Joe Capone's family and you're watching this, I want you to know how much he changed to all of our lives for the better. Francis, are you ready? I'm gonna bring Francis on because.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh boy! All right. So, I guess I'm going to have to start with how I first met Cap. I was doing a podcast with two friends called The Back Shelf. It was comics, wrestling, pop culture in general, just the overall manic, jumping place to place podcast. And Cap would be consistently in like the chat for the podcast, making sure we either stayed kind of on track when we would go off track, and like rooting us on to make sure we like kept going, kept putting the show out and stuff like that. And then sometime after that, I started talking to him personally. Just he's a good dude, so I've reached out, and it was like, yeah, we can talk and stuff like that. He really took the time to talk to me when I was having a really, really difficult time, like in my life. I was having contemplations of not being, and he talked with me all night until it was that he was sure that I was okay. And like I could not appreciate him more for doing that. And then he would check up on me periodically to make sure I was okay. And he kept saying to me that I needed to do things that I had an interest in and keep doing those things. And he was all right.
You got this.
He enjoyed like the musical creations that I would put out, because he would also have his share of music that he did, his like Tiny Creatures and such. I mean, and he would always say, I need to, do other things with my music. He introduced me to Emily, and it was like, we should try and make some music together, because we at the time were, I was trying to figure out what I should do musically and stuff like that. And he kept saying, you should talk to her and do that, and then you should also stream it. You should stream your music as you're making it. And I was like, I don't really think it's there yet. Like but he like, I even the last message I got from him, like I keep looking at it on Instagram, and it's just him saying that I should be streaming on Twitch, and he's rooting for me, and he's always going to be there to support what I'm doing. And God, like right when I'm like at the point where I'm ready, is like not. Man, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Yeah, he's just. I wish I would have. I would have done it sooner, so he could have been able to see it like he wanted to, like see it like how he kept telling me to do it. He gave me all the tips and everything, and it was just like, just do it. Just, you know, keep doing the things that make me happy and put it out there for the world. And man,
Are you doing it? Are you putting it out there?
I mean, I'm putting it out there more, and I have it set now that I can stream it. It was just a little harder to do, like to have the sound come through and stuff like that, and not sound like bad. But yeah, I am doing it.
Good. Oh, real quick, we had another Bricko redeemed a toast to Joe. Sorry, I didn't mean to miss it.
Oh, it's okay.
I also hate interrupting, so.
No, sorry. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys bringing me on and letting me say my few words about Cap and doing this. And yeah, that I'm gonna miss him. I mean, it's a lot. I'm sorry.
No, it is a lot.
Don't be.
You're doing great.
I think it was Lindsay Stewart who said, "Don't ever be sorry for the way that you feel." Having a lot of feelings is not a bad thing. It just makes us very human.
Yeah, Rob said it doesn't matter if it sounds bad now because it's worse if no one ever gets to hear it.
Yeah, that is. God, that's. I just. I was so hoping that I would have been able to get things done quicker so that I could have, had him in on the stream listening to the stuff that he liked in particular, because he made it known like which things, like I've made videos of just music or whatever because of the kind of thing that I do. And he was just like, I like this one a lot. You should go and stream and show like how you put it together and how everything works. Because there's not like a ton of people that are doing the same thing. And I think a lot of people would enjoy it. And I should have done it sooner.
No, you can't do that to yourself. But you know what you can do? Every time you don't feel like doing it, or every time you're questioning yourself, you can go back and read those messages from him. You know he's right. Yeah. And you know what? Now you have all of us.
And I appreciate that. Like, if there were words that currently existed to tell you and everyone how much I appreciate them and this space and everything, I would use them. But currently, they do not exist. Like, I'm sure of it. It is the same for Cap, and I told him, I told him that I appreciated him more than words could ever ever express. He talked me off of a ledge. Not everyone is going to do that. Not everyone is going to take the time to do that. I couldn't think of enough. Oh boy.
Yeah, I think a lot of us feel that same way. I think he knows, though.
Mud No More put in our chat, he believed in us when those of us that didn't believe in ourselves. And that, I think, sums up very much Cap. Thank you, Mud No More. And Francis, I don't know if you have seen, but you are now part of the family. Everybody's part of the family.
The Cap family.
We're part of the Cap family.
We're all Capones now.
I appreciate that so much, because I didn't have much of a. I mean, like, I did have people that I kind of were around and talked to for a while, but it dwindled to the point of mostly leaving me by myself. So I appreciate having people. Gosh, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Thank
you for coming on and talking.
I appreciate it. Thank you again for inviting me on, and, like I said, giving me the space to share, my feelings and my experience with Cap. I think I am going to have to step away for a minute.
Okay.
But I'm sorry I couldn't go longer than I wish I could have gone longer. But, I feel it welling up from the pit of my stomach, and it's working its way all the way up. I'm trying to keep it as together as possible.
I'll take what time you need. We can pause for a minute. I've got a video to show all of you, and maybe we can just take that minute. It's actually like 8 minutes. But yeah. And check out the chat, man. You have a lot of support. Look at these messages I'm reading are amazing. Lot of thanks from the crowd. Oh, we've got another toast. Thanks. Oh. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, better to feel the feelings. And I'm so glad you came on here and felt that you could do this. That is incredible. Oh, we have another we have 3 toasts. Here we go. Oh. I'm gonna run out of water. 4 toasts. All right, keep drinking. To Joe Capone.
Joe.
Oh, one more toast. We have one more toast. We have 6 toasts, guys. Everybody redeemed them at once. And now we're fish. And we have another one. And now we have to use the bathroom. Right. I'm going to go to that video before we get any more.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of water.
Yeah. Ready?
So, ladies and gentlemen,
Oops.
This is going to be a montage put together by a lot of very wonderful memories together. So without further ado, Emily?
Get your Kleenex out. You ready?
Where are the drugs?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry. It's my Batman. Batman voice. I always have to do it when I use that mod.
Scared the shit out of me.
You know this is getting close. Ready, Columbo? Here we go. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Tip me over and pour me out. I'm a very special teapot, yes, it's true. Here's an example of what I can do. I can turn my handle inside into a spout. Tip me over and pour me out. Blow me, 'cause it's a peanut butter play call, but don't tell Weird Paul. It's his melody, it's his music, and I'm using it. The peanut butter play call, don't tell Weird Paul. There you go. Clip that. Send that to Weird Paul. Still waiting for that cease and desist.
Scoreboard, baby!
But Modern Romantic Magazine wants me to sound the horn. Butt trumpet. My old tag team partner on the radio, Tom the Chokester Motley, used to be in love with Luna Vachon. Every week when we do the Chokehold radio show, Tom would always dedicate about 5 minutes of the show professing his love for Luna. Old McCapo had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Up top to Frasley. Ho, ho, ho! Another end zone to end zone catch. 72 yards for the touchdown. Frazzle, dazzle, puddin' pie. Scores again because she is fly. Alright, motherfuckers, I'm doing a sleep stream. I want to see those donations roll in. Minimum $15. You donate more than $50, I'll take my pants off for you. Although you won't be able to see any skin because I'm all corrupted and shit. Oh, I got turned into a frog. What the fuck? 96 season. I was sitting down in the end zone, on the south end zone, very first row in the end zone. And Robert Brooks caught a touchdown, ran it in right in front of where I was sitting. And I was yelling at him, giving him the verbal once-over about how much he sucked. And he turned around and he looked at me and he grabbed his ass cheek and ran off. So every time I see him, I have to have a laugh about that.
Caponus. Thank you. Is that really what it... Okay. If I must. Capone with the us for her heroic flair, but most call me Cap. Okay, good. Okay, I'll call you Cap.
So I could get into the Modern Romantic magazine podcast doing that reading, right? Because that's technically romanticism. Oh, beloved Capone, I love you so much. You are such a sexy man. Come save me from the Hades.
Get out of here! That's winning the retro. There you go. That was for you, Joe Capone. That was for you, my brother. There it is. New York, 3513. I'm screenshotting this shit. I'm taking a picture of this one. This was for Joe. Right there. We're going to have it right there. Bam. There it is. Oh, man. Right there.
There's a Fortrell, polyester, leather, wool, and tweed. Just a Visa or MasterCard is all you need. We got every color, we got every shade. We're located next to Willie's Fun Arcade. We got every fabric that was ever made. But I'm known in this city as the King of Suede. King of Suede. I'll always be King of Suede. I'll always be King of Suede.
Yeah, it's time to wrap up this week's edition of the Small Creatures Sunday Serenade with one of my favorite songs from Dee Snider and Twisted Sister. Sing along if you know the words. How long I wanted this dream to come true, and as it approaches, I can't believe I'm through. I've tried, I've tried for life, yes, life I thought I knew. Oh, it's a price we gotta pay, and all the games we gotta play, makes me wonder if it's worth it to carry on. 'Cause it's a game we gotta lose, so it's a life we gotta choose, and the price is our own life until it's done. Time seems to have frozen, but the mind can't be fooled. As the days pass, I discover destiny got me rolled. Hard times, hard times for the price. Yes, the price I thought I knew. You know it's the price we gotta pay, and all the games we gotta play. Makes me wonder if it's worth it to carry on. Because it's a game we gotta lose, so it's a life we gotta choose, and the price is our own life until it's done. Keep on carrying on, people. Stay safe. Don't be dumb. Don't put your family and friends at risk. I love you. We're all gonna make this shit together. Make it out okay on the other side. And before I start rambling on too much, I think I'm gonna just and say goodbye. The price, baby.
All right, we're back. Oh, hearing his voice again makes it feel like he's still around. That's hard. Francis, do you want to go? We can go on to Jerry and Eddie if you want and come back to you. Unless you're good. That's up to you. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I was saying that I just probably shouldn't have been looking back at our messages that we were sending back and forth or whatever. Just generally about TV shows and conventions and stuff.
Yeah, I know it's not fitting.
That's just a wild reminder. God, he was an awesome guy.
He was.
Oh my goodness. A wealth of knowledge, though, about like all things pop culture. Like he definitely had the answers. I thought I wasn't going to be able to keep going, but that's something that. 1 second.
Got another to Caponus. Or as I forgot her name. The musician, the girl, Caponus. That was great. That was a great night.
Whether it was comics or whatever, he was a wealth of pop culture knowledge. Golly. Like I said, I'm just like, I was reading back on some of our messages, and it was always about like a TV show that we were both watching, or oh gosh, and just random comic book facts, and then a lot of wrestling callbacks. Goodness. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was a one of a kind guy.
He definitely was.
Say once in a lifetime kind of character.
I hate to call anyone out, but everyone say hi to Danielle in the chat. That's Joe's sister.
Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
Yeah, we're so glad you could be here. It's probably very hard for you as well, and but I'm glad you get to hear all of our stories and how much he touched us all. So, the hamster laugh, yeah.
Thanks, the girls and I are enjoying hearing stories.
Well, Francis, if it's okay with you, I'd like to get Jerry and Eddie on.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine with me. And
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Francis.
Yeah, thank you so much for telling your story, and we appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.
And everyone here
And everyone
here for you too.
Thank you so much.
Francis Capone. Oh, and someone hasn't redeemed another toast. To Joe.
To Caponus.
Don't spit it out. Oh, and Jay Step another one. I have to take smaller sips because I'm going to run out. Okay. Thank you, Francis.
Thank you.
10 minutes.
All right, Jerry and Eddie, you're on.
Hello.
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Eddie.
Hi, how are you guys?
How's it going?
Thank you for doing this. Is Cody here too? I think he's somewhere backstage, right? He's also in our podcast.
Oh, yeah, I see him.
Is it possible to
There we
add?
go.
There he is. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
Hello.
Now you have the full Ramble podcast here, ready to roll. Yeah, we just want to thank you guys for doing this. And,
Yeah.
I mean,
Joe was such a big part of the show we did, and it was just, or we do, and it's his thumbprint's going to be all over it for as long as we do the show, I would imagine, because he created most of the artwork.
he created most of our artwork.
Just because he wanted to.
Because
We
he
didn't
wanted,
even
like,
ask.
it was crazy. Like, I didn't know what the fuck a meme was really until, like, he started listening to our podcast.
I started
and then, like,
making daily memes for every episode.
for every episode, like, how much do I owe him? Like $5,000? Like, how do I? And he was like, no. I was like,
No,
what?
let's do it.
And then he really, like, we talked pro wrestling, video games, and he really pushed me to Twitch.
Yeah.
And he like, I have a Twitch channel because of him.
Yeah.
And it just, I've never known a kinder like he was just like, there were times when I'd have technical issues,
Yeah.
and it'd be like 4 a.m. his time, and I would just hit him up on Facebook Messenger like, hey, do you know what this might be? And then bam, he's there helping me. I'm like, no, go to bed. I didn't mean
sleep,
to,
Joe,
sleep. But it was just like such a kind-hearted person.
I first, I guess, encountered Joe. I'm co-host of the Ralph Garman show, the Ralph Report on Patreon. I guess he was a subscriber of that. And Ralph does a podcast with Kevin Smith, Hollywood Babylon. So I guess that's how he got into the Ralph Report. And then he followed me from there to my other podcast, which is The Ramble I do with Jerry and Cody. And he would start messaging me in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. Because I'm an insomniac, and I would just start reading his messages like, hey man, I really love this Ramble show you're doing. You guys talk about all the stuff I love to do, wrestling and video games and heavy metal. And so he just started becoming a part of the show. He would start interacting with us, and in his emails and in his artwork for the show. And he was almost like the fourth member of the show. He really was.
It really was like
over the past 2.5-3 years.
Cody, before this happened, I don't think there was a single episode where he didn't email us in. Right?
Yeah.
Like he always, he just.
Yeah, always writing in or again, like contributing backgrounds and then like updating them and stuff just without us even asking.
And never failed to talk shit about the Giants. Just always constantly
constant. And that's the thing. So
would
Cody,
not stop.
And this is what made it so interesting. Cody and I are diehard Dallas Cowboy fans. Eddie's a diehard Washington football fan. And then Joe was a Giant. So we should have all hated each other, really. But instead, just talking wrestling, and not to get like too, and he absolutely, Kingsley's right. Like Capone was like, he was like
the
Twitch
silent
partner
member of the
Yeah,
Ramble.
it was. Yeah. And last March, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And luckily, I beat it. This March, I got the word that I'm cancer free. But I mean, I can get choked up here. Joe, out of the blue, created a Fight Jerry Fight meme.
Yeah.
That he started circulating to the people who listen to our podcast and it was just like. And then when I told him, hey, I got the news that I'm cancer free, he created a cancer free badge for my Twitch channel for people to like an emoji. He was the best. He was just, it's such a tremendous loss. We did a Ramble tribute for him, and I thank you all for showing that clip. I was so happy I got to win as the Giants when I did my little stream with him.
You picked the Dolphins.
I did pick
like one of the worst teams.
Stop, Dan Marino? Are you kidding?
They have three
That's
pass
true.
plays.
They were pretty easy to figure out.
They're like the third worst team in that.
It was
game.
random. It randomly picked it. I promise. You remember Tech
Why
Bowl?
you picked the 49ers? Yeah, beat the 49ers.
I would have whipped the shit out of him too for Joe. For Joe, it was. I mean, he was just. He was just a. It's cliched to call someone a saint, but not with him.
Like he was truly one of the most giving people I've ever encountered, and I wish I'd got to meet him in person.
Yeah,
it was all through technology that we had a relationship, and he was literally one of the most giving people I've ever encountered in my life.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. A lot of help too, separately from the Ramble, even with my stuff. So I've got a separate whole thing, a podcast I do doing film reviews, and like every Sunday we record our show and stream it on Twitch, and Joe was there every Sunday, like actively chatting and sending in questions. And then on my personal Twitch, I knew nothing about anything, and Joe would like watch streams, help me test stuff out, tell me how things looked, and like again, always volunteering time, always like never asking for anything in return, just like really a giving person.
He even listened to that entire podcast we did, Re-MCU, where I defended Thor Dark World for an hour.
Yes.
And he listened to the whole episode.
True friend. If someone's going to listen
to
Thor Dark World for an hour.
For an hour defending.
And he listened to the whole thing.
One of the worst Marvel movies, and Eddie defended it and Joe.
That's who he
Joe
was.
should have checked out immediately.
I checked out halfway through it.
You didn't even believe in what you were saying, but Joe believed in it. I remember that, Cody. You were testing your Twitch stream. You're playing an NHL game, and Joe and I were both Joe just volunteered. Like, I'll help him. That was just like, it's just amazing. Like, he's just like, if
if there is a heaven, no question he's in there, and he's helping somebody right now.
Yeah,
like that's
he's
what
helping
he's
Jesus
doing.
with
He's
his Twitch
up there
stream.
helping. Yeah, he's helping Christ Twitch. That's how great of a person. That's how. I mean, he was just an incredible human. I can't. It was again like I've we've all the three of us. We've been gutted like everybody since we've heard the news. It's not the same. It's just a lot of things are just never going to be the same anymore. Like I caught myself not shouting out to him like, "Hey, what's up, Joe?" when I started twitching the other night. And I was like, "Oh fuck, that's right." It just like it because he was always the first one. Like the minute I would start twitching, there he was saying hello, and it was and I will say this, and this is something that, like, if you've ever listened to our podcast, the three of us, we don't condone violence, but I promise, if Cody, Eddie, and I ever see the video game version of Kirk Cousins on the streets,
he's getting a beat down.
That motherfucker's getting smashed because Joe could never get past Kirk Cousins in Tecmo. And
that was his white whale, man.
That was his white whale.
Tecmo Bowl Kirk Cousins was his white whale.
And if we ever see you on the streets, Tecmo Bowl Kirk Cousins, you're dead. You're getting the shit kicked out of you for Joe. We are gonna whoop your ass.
Promise you that. Promise you that.
Promise that. That's gonna happen. Like, that is what we are going to do. Oh, he doesn't stand a chance. No, not if he sees us.
I'll beat his 8-bit ass.
Beat that 8-bit ass. But I mean, that was Joe. And thank you. Please, everybody watching, donate. I know a lot of our, if you could send me that link, the donation link, because I'm going to post it on our.
I know a lot of our ramblers will.
Yeah, our podcast listeners just really want to help it. And nobody deserves this help more than Joe, because that's what he was. He just helped everybody. He helped it. That's the only way to describe him. Just, he helped. He was so kind, and he just, no matter what, he was willing to help. And a lot of people who offer help don't know what they're talking about. He actually
did. He was actually good at helping.
He was actually good at helping.
Most people suck when they
suck when they try to help.
And he was really good at it.
It was like this. Yeah, it was. I would always tag him when he would give me artwork or anything, and I'd be like, "Dude,
he's so humble about it."
Yeah, I'd be like, maybe somebody could, like, hire you. And he goes, "No, I don't want." I'm like, "Okay, all right, man. Like, thank you." It was it's weird. Like, all the things I love, I'm gonna think about video game. I'll think about Joe. Video games, comic book stuff, pro wrestling, like everything.
Kiss.
Kiss sucks. Joe knew it, and he wouldn't admit it. But Kiss sucks.
That was many an argument on our podcast. It started when Joe would email about Kiss, because that's maybe your top hated group ever.
Might be my number one.
Your number one hated fans. So, yeah.
Well,
Kiss.
I think it was because he had that one thing in common with Gene Simmons.
What was that? The tongue?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know Joe Capone had a Gene Simmons like tongue. My God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, look at
if
that.
If you saw in the video,
wow, that's right. See there. Oh, that's right. So there you go.
So that's why he liked it.
It connects.
Still not an excuse to like Kiss.
It's
I'm kind of with you there.
There's Kingsley. Kiss's love was Joe's only flaw.
No one's perfect. Even Joe.
No
one's perfect.
I gotta go. Kirk Cousins was the only flaw, because I don't mind Kiss. There's songs about, like, hey, let's go have sex with an underage girl. I don't like.
There's lots of creepy.
There's a lot of creepy songs in the Kiss catalog, but there's some fun ones too. I don't know.
There's some fun ones too.
I want to rock and roll. How can you not rock and roll all night and party every day? Who doesn't want to
not
do
with
that?
Those people? Not with those guys. There's probably underage. There's jailbait at that party.
You're all getting arrested.
You're all getting arrested.
The sting operation.
Man, Joe. It was. But yeah, it was so much fun. I just looked for. I still have his emails saved. I don't think I'm ever going to delete them. He emailed me a few weeks before he passed, and we would talk like. It was just, I know he wasn't feeling well a couple of weeks ago, and I would always hit him up like, hey, how you doing? And he would just, we would just talk and just, hey man, love you. Hope you get better. And
yeah,
it's just, I just hope he knew how loved he was. I really do. That's my one thing, is I just hope Joe
at least knew how the people if he was in your life, you loved him, and that was
For sure.
That
For
was
sure.
it was impossible not to. Like,
he wouldn't let you. He would just keep bombarding you with stuff.
True.
love. Yeah,
He wouldn't let you tune him out.
yeah.
Like my DMs on my Instagram are just filled with memes.
Same here. Yes.
Yes.
He wouldn't let you.
He
ignore
wouldn't
it.
let you. And Joe is the only guy I really think, like, I would forgive for wearing like a "Let's Go Brandon" T-shirt. That's not him. But if he ever had one, I'd be like, you know what? It's Joe. It's fine. I'm not going to be mad at this.
You get one pass.
You get one pass.
He would only wear it to piss you off too.
He would. Yeah, he probably would.
Yeah.
He probably would.
Not because he believed it, but yeah.
That was. I remember, like, it was. It was so funny, but this is just an example of how, like, it was just how in tune he was to everything we're doing. Eddie had told, this could be a little graphic, he told a funny story about one of the dumbest wrestling promos he'd ever seen in his life, which was a guy in the early 80s. What did he say? I'm gonna
come on you like no one's ever come on you before.
Yes. And I was like, that didn't happen. That wasn't real.
Absolutely.
30
Magnum TA. says,
Magnum
I'm going to
TA.
come on you like no one's ever come on you before.
And then 30 seconds later, Joe DMs me the video. I'm like, I was like, what? He was like, oh yeah, it happened. Here it is. Like, how did he know this? Like, it was.
That was actually, we talked about that on the Ramble.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that triggered him to reach out to us
Yes,
and join the
it
Ramble.
was
Because
that.
we talked about that, and he was laughing his ass off.
Because Joe was like, I'm probably the only person who remembers that promo.
Me
ever
and Joe are the
existing.
only two people who remember that promo, and he sent it to you to prove it.
And it really.
But if you ever see it, go to YouTube. Magnum TA. I'm gonna come on you like no one's ever. Come
Oh
on you
my
before.
gosh.
He says it so emphatically too. Like, I think they must have told him come meant something else before
I think he meant like come at. I'm gonna come at you,
Yes.
but he forgot the at, and he put on.
And he says it. He's just he's like, it's a wrestling. He's like
in
a
a locker
redneck.
room and he's
like,
yelling.
I'm gonna come on you like nobody's ever come on you before. And it's like, what are we watching? But it was so funny how Joe instantly. Oh, there it is. Yep, this is Magnum TA. Boom, that's the one. Like, he just It was. It's. I'm happy we're getting to laugh. Because it's been really sad. It's just been so sad.
Joe would have wanted to joke around.
Yeah, Joe would always want to, like,
Balls.
it's bust balls, Joe. I sing on my podcast and on my Twitch stream all the time because Joe encouraged it. It was like, and I'm like, all right then. I got one person who doesn't mind, so I'm doing it.
Sarucci made a really good point. She said somewhere Joe is rolling laughing.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so. It was. Yeah, I mean, it's. But yeah,
Unless he's playing Kirk Cousins.
Unless
in
he's
Tecmo
playing
Bowl.
Kirk Cousins
Then
in
he's not
Tecmo Bowl,
laughing.
he's
He's
pissed
getting his
right
ass
now.
beat.
He's losing and he's upset. And I stand by it. Tecmo Bowl, Kirk Cousins, you're a marker. We're gonna come on
You're
you
a
like
marked
nobody's
man.
ever come on you before if we see you on the streets. Tecmo Bowl, Kirk Cousins.
Cap is sitting there playing against Jesus Christ, going, Jesus fucking Christ, and Jesus Christ is just going, I'm right here, dude.
I'm right here. I'm right. Can I tell you something too about how great Joe was? I don't know how this is possible, but by watching his Twitch stream, I found myself giving a shit about World of Warcraft, which I could give a fuck about that. That's the one
great.
video game genre I'll never touch. It's like Call of Duty is the same thing. To me, it's Call of Duty, but with dragons. And I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck about this. But I would watch Joe and I'd be like, oh, wait, so what is that? Like, what's that thing do? And he was always there with an answer. It was great. It was great.
Call of Duty with dragons. All the Warcraft players in the chat are like,
oh, they hate me now. That's
we had another toast. I'm sorry. To Caponus.
Caponus. That is so funny that singer said Caponus. There's not two O's in his name.
No, it was because of me. I had typed his name that way in the chat.
That's even better.
I did it hoping she would say it, and she totally did.
Could you imagine walking up to the pearly gates and it's just like, I don't know, St. Peter just opens his giant book and he goes, yes, Caponus, welcome. And he's like, it's Caponus. He's like, no, it's Caponus.
Caponus. We're doing this the right way.
Hey, on behalf of you guys, I would like to make a toast to everyone except Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Yes.
Screw
there
Kirk
we
Cousins.
go. And as a Washington football fan, he has
Yeah,
an
big
extra
time.
special
Screw Kirk
hatred of
Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. There we go.
I feel you, Joe.
Oh,
And-
another
and
toast too. Thank you.
Joe, we miss you, Joe. We love you.
It's not gonna be the same without you, buddy.
We'll never be the same without you. And Emily and Stage Mom, I can't thank you all enough for having us.
Thank you
on
guys for
and
doing
for
this.
putting this on.
Yeah.
Thank you
Like,
for
this is-
coming.
Yeah, we do it anytime.
Yeah.
We'd be here anytime. This was like literally like we set aside time today to be a part of this because we had to.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you all and please everybody donate. And yeah, if you don't mind, you might have already, Emily, but just send me that link and I'll make sure that it gets.
We'll post it on
to
our,
all of
Ramble page.
I'll do it. Yeah. And everyone, as a reminder, go follow each other. Go follow. That's what Cap would want. Go follow everybody that's in the chat.
On Twitch, I'm Retro Rocha. Cody, what are you, Cinesnob?
Yeah, twitch.tv/Cinesnob.
And I'm
Can you spell
Retro
Cinesnob?
ROCHA. We got to get this guy on Twitch soon, but once
Yeah, I gotta
that
get on there at
happens,
some
he'll have
point.
his own. Yeah.
At Eddie Pence.
Yeah, there you go.
Cody, can you spell Cinesnob for everybody?
Yeah, CINESNOB.
There you go. Okay.
There we
There
go.
it is.
That's it.
Thank
Excellent.
you all so much.
Well, yeah, we'll be in touch with you.
Yeah, please,
Jerry.
please.
Yeah,
all,
thank you.
yes, it was always great. Thank you all so much.
And Jerry and Eddie and Cody Capone.
There we go. We'll be
That's
the
right.
Capones instead of the Ramones.
Everybody's
I like this.
an honorary Capone.
Yes,
because we're
that's
part
right.
of the Cap family.
Screw Kirk Cousins and Kiss.
Yeah, except Kirk Cousins and
Except
Kiss.
for Cousins. For Cousins.
Oh man.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Take care.
As we're bringing on our next guest, just a reminder, the link that is in our Twitch chat right now, all of the donations tonight are going directly to Caponus' family. All of the donations tonight are going
Megan, we've got
directly
some
to,
feedback.
Megan, we've got
Yeah, hang on a sec.
feedback.
Here, I'll take you off for just a second. Okay, go ahead, Trey. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. So just a reminder, all of the proceeds tonight through that link that we're referencing, those go directly to Caponus' family to help support him and his legacy. So whatever you can contribute, I'm sure I would be grateful, and I'm sure they would be grateful as well.
And if you can't, that's okay.
Absolutely.
We're just happy you're here sharing it in tonight with us.
100%.
Okay, we're gonna bring Megan back on. Megan!
Hi. Hey, so Megan, if you played WoW with me, you probably know me as Sloodle. I knew Cap from there. I just wrote out what I was gonna say, so I'm gonna read that and try not to ugly cry, maybe. So in 2007, I started playing WoW while I was between jobs to, entertain myself while my then boyfriend was out during the day. And because he'd been playing longer than me, I sort of inherited his guild, which was the Order of Time, which I'm putting her on my other monitor, like that makes sense to you. But Emily was our GM. So, and I was totally happy to stick with them because they were fun and helpful. And like most WoW guilds, we had a voice chat server. And I eventually noticed that when I logged on, there would be this one person down in a channel by himself. So naturally, I started popping into that same channel to bug him, and that person was Joe Capone.
I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah, the Batcave. He had his own dedicated channel.
We gave him his own channel.
Yeah. He's like, what are you doing in here? This is my channel. And at first, I think he tolerated me more than anything else, because he'd come back to our server after spending part of the Burning Crusade expansion raiding with another girl in another server. So he had just really good gear compared to the rest of us. And after I hit the max level at the time, 70, he'd let me tag along when he did daily quests. So, he could just breeze through them while I was struggling to solo him. And just through sheer persistence, if nothing else, we started to learn everything we had in common, in particular, our sense of humor. And so by the time that next expansion dropped, Wrath, we were playing together just constantly. We leveled our main characters together, and as more people hit level 80, our guild started raiding, and it started to become apparent to us that, what we wanted out of it wasn't compatible with the guild's goal of maximum accessibility, so we started looking for other options. And that was just the start of us being just completely inseparable for, I don't know, years. And he was my pocket healer, and I was his pocket tank, and we moved a few different places as guilds would, you know, whatever, dissolve or have philosophy didn't like. But everywhere we went, we were a package deal through that whole expansion and into the next one. And, you know, I don't want to minimize how important WoW was to us, because it was a huge part of our lives. And so screw you guys who don't like WoW. It's not anything like Call of Duty. You know, but
With dragons.
it was fun. It was how we socialized a lot of the time. You know, even when we weren't playing, we just, you know, we'd be logged into Vent or TeamSpeak or Mumble or whatever we had at the time, and just be like hanging out with people. And, you know, a lot of how I became a better player was due to him too. But if you're somebody who played with him or played with us, like in Order of Time or Last Stand or Prayer for Tomb or Robot Death Panel or Cryosect, I come through literally over 1,000 emails that he sent me and other folks that had images attached to them, and I uploaded over 1,000 of his WoW screenshots. They're linked in the Facebook Memorial group, so if you go check that out, if you played with Cap, you're probably in there somewhere. So like go check that out. But,
it's a gold mine.
There's so much. There are also photos of him and photos of 2 of his cats, because he loved those cats very much and they were big sweeties. But but yeah, so like the two most important things that he did for me that I will carry with me for the rest of my life have, you know, nothing to do with WoW at all, except that was how I met him, and that was how our lives connected. So the first thing is apologies. And anybody who knows me knows that I have no problem sharing my opinions, that I think my opinions are usually right, and that I'm very stubborn. As I was going through all those emails, I definitely found several that were among our like guild officers hashing out whatever like latest drama had happened, which was always fun. But so, you know, at the time I met Joe, that was my mid-20s. And that's, you know, that attitude plus that age is a recipe for somebody who has a really, really, really hard time admitting when she's wrong. But, you know, Joe was somebody who, when he fucked up, he apologized, you know, as soon as he cooled off enough to see that I was needed. And, you know, when I say, you know, apologize, I mean a real apology. I do not mean any of that wishy-washy, oh, you know, I'm sorry if you were offended, like fucking dude bullshit. Like, no, it was, he would acknowledge his fault and he'd promise to do better, and more often than not, he would follow through. And if he didn't, you know, he'd apologize again, and he'd get that much better. And that put me in the position of being like, you know, if this like loudmouth smartass can admit when he's wrong, you know, what the hell's wrong with me that I can't? So like, I did my best to take that example and admit when I was wrong and own it, even when it was hard on my ego, or even if, you know, somebody else wasn't returning that favor. Because admitting when you're wrong, he taught me, it just always makes you that better person, and it's not something you need to get something back. So, you know, so that's one thing he gave me. And for the other one, you know, one afternoon, it's early July 2009, I started to get this feeling, you know, we're in WoW, and I'm like, man, it's so weird, like, my character's running. I'm not physically running, but it feels like I've got a stitch in my side. Like, am I this out of shape? And you know, it wasn't the worst pain ever, but like, it just didn't go away. And I tried to blow it off like it was no big deal. And Joe was worried, of course, because he cares and he knows to take things seriously. So yeah, I compromised. All right, I'm like, all right, when I go to bed, if it still hurts when I wake up in the morning, then like I'll call my doctor or whatever. It's fine. So I went to bed and I tried to sleep, and it just still didn't go away. And so I called up Joe, who's like one of the handful of people in the world I'd actually talked to on the phone. And then so I called him up in tears, because it had been hours at this point and the pain was just not stopping. And it wasn't bad, but it was just relentless. And he insisted that I go to a hospital and that I take care of myself. So I did what I didn't want to do, which I thought was going to be too much fuss. I called my mom, who's a couple neighborhoods away, for a ride to the ER. And yeah, as soon as I'm sitting in the car, I'm already feeling better. And then I get to the ER and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for hours and I feel, you know, like pretty much normal. And I'm like, man, you know, like, should I just go home? Like, it's not that big a deal, probably. And so it's like 3-4 hours later, and I'm second guessing myself. But, you know, anytime I think about getting up and leaving, I know that I'd have to tell Joe that I left, and I could hear his voice in my head telling me, stay there and get it checked out, damn it. Like, I wasn't gonna let him down like that. So they finally got around to looking at me. And the doctor ordered some tests to be on the safe side, and those tests adjusted, and then they confirmed that like stitch in my side was actually a whole ass blood clot in my lung. And I spent the next 2 or 3 days in the ICU as they kept me on oxygen and monitored me 24/7 to make sure that clot didn't get in my heart or my brain. And if it had not been for Joe, I would have kept blowing it off, and it probably would have been too late to do anything about it. And so, like, the closeness of our friendship has waxed and waned over the years, as adult friendships do. And it is always going to gut me that it was like, oh, that last message, I'm really busy with work. I'm just going to snooze it until I can, like, really properly reply. Just, like, snooze it for a couple of days. And, you don't always have a couple of days. Sometimes that's just it. And so I'll always be sad that we didn't get that last chat, that last talk about whatever fucking dumb video he sent me that he sends everybody, which we love. But, the years we were closest, there are so many good memories. And he taught me by example how to be a better person. And I'm not the only person, as we know tonight, he very literally saved my life. And that's the kind of person he was. And it's why his life continues to send out ripples infinitely. And we can't talk to him anymore, but it is unmistakable that he was here and that he mattered to us and to everyone that our lives continue to touch from here to forever. And that's what I have to say about Joe.
You're absolutely right.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
no.
Hi, Stage Mom here again, your emotional support co-host. Please, tissues, water, and hydrate.
Yeah, I made it through with notes and not thinking about what I was saying. I did my crying while I was writing it over like 3 days, and then every time anybody else talked. So yeah.
Yeah, that was so hard, was coming up with what I wanted to say. I think we all struggled with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no summing Joe, and I think somebody said that we're so lucky that we live in this time where we have this concrete record of all our memories, because anytime we want to hear him laugh, we can just go. We can go pop up a video, we can pop up a recording of a stream, and we can just hear that laugh. And if we want to go look through I'm not kidding about, it was like 1,100 emails just with images, and we can go through and we can look at all those, and we can look at our messages, and we can look at our texts, and we can listen to our voicemails, and we can pull out our letters and our notes, and look at our gifts, and just think about all these concrete things that we have that we can touch, and they're just great that we have to have that we can hear him again. We can hear him again when we want to be able to yeah.
And we live in an age where we were able to meet him virtually.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for this age we live in, we wouldn't have met him at all.
No, I mean, he almost never got out of Jacksonville. I never met him. I met, we would get together with some people from the guild, but he never got remotely this far north. And so I think that really is a testament to how his personality really just, oh God, it was so forceful and so enduring that it just literally blasted across the entire world, and everybody had exactly the same impression of him, because that was the kind of guy he was, that he was just integrity is, when the impression you have of somebody is the same as the way they present themselves, and that's what he was. And sometimes it is shit that would cause conflicts, but like you knew what you're getting, and he was always decent, and he always cared.
He did. You're right. There was a quote I posted on Facebook the other day, because of Joe, and it said, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't want to pull it up, but it was, "With great love comes great grief." And the fact that we're all crying right now means there was great love. Yeah. I only cried at work once today.
I was just, like move a little spreadsheet, wipe a little tear, move a little spreadsheet, wipe a little tear.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Terry in the chat, and thank you for coming, Terry. Thank you for coming, everybody. Don't forget to go follow everybody. If you just joined us, we're memorializing Joe Capone, and he would want us all to be able to connect. And like I said before, we're all Capones now. We're part of the Cap family, and so feel free to post your stream in the chat if you'd like for everybody to follow. I've tried to go through and follow just about everybody I can, but thank you for coming. It's flooring me, absolutely flooring me how many people showed up today, and we're not done. And this is really special. This is really great, and I wish he could see this. Maybe he can. And I think he knows he was loved.
He absolutely knows. I think a lot of us made a point of telling him, and the people for whom that was harder, he got your vibes. He knew how you felt, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad that I got to meet you in real life.
I know, it was good. That was like an embarrassing long time ago at this point. That was like, what, like 2008?
I think around then, yeah. 2008 or 9. I can go back and look at the pictures probably.
I'd have to look at the, exactly.
Yeah.
But that was great. I'm sad that we didn't get to drag him up for that. That would have been fun. But
yeah. A few of us talked about just going down there and showing up at his doorstep, but he would absolutely freak out.
He probably would have murdered everyone, but in a loving way.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
he would he would threaten to not answer the door.
Oh yeah, no, he that is actually when he probably would have faked his death, is if people showed up at his door, he just would not have responded at all. Like,
Yeah.
There was nobody there.
Credence said we would have to bring catnip. That was one thing Julie said, and Julie, I'm sorry if I'm stealing your thunder on this one, but he gets to be with Pedro again.
Oh.
Sorry, Julie. I really am. If you were going to say that, I apologize. But she's coming on next. And I just, that's really happy. And Rev. And who did you say the other cat was?
Oh God, I can't
with
remember.
The B, I think.
I only remember the horrifying story about its demise, which I will not share because people don't need to be scarred. But it started with a B. That was before my time. But Pedro and Rev, which again, there are photos of on the thing that I uploaded on the Facebook group. You can look at it. Really
okay, yeah. Right now, our chat isn't displaying the group link properly, and I don't know why, because I have tried hard to fix that. But Julie had posted the name of it so people could go find it, but it's there. That link worked. There you go.
Hooray.
Try that. So anyway, yes. I was gonna bring Huckleberry on to say a few words, but he doesn't speak English, so.
You know, language of the heart.
Right. Did you have anything else you wanted to add? Okay.
I am all good.
Well, I'm so glad you were able to come on and be part of this.
Me too. Thanks for saving me some time.
Yeah, of course. And I believe we'll all be in touch again soon.
Very much so.
Yeah. Hooray.
And thank you, Megan Capone.
Yes, thank you, Megan Capone. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it immensely.
It helps.
Well, we're going to move on to Julie then. Bye, fam. Yay. Okay. Fubijou. We can't hear you. Yeah, it's okay. Maybe you can figure it out. I'll tell you when we can hear you, because we can't hear you. It's okay. Yes, I love this Capone family. Yeah, I really mean it when I say I would love to stay connected. I don't mean it because like that's what you say when you have some kind of memorial, like you're like, oh, we'll get together sometime. Like, I know there's a bunch of you in Minnesota. I'm in Minnesota. Fubiju here is in Minnesota. We've got Archer33X in the chat that's in Minnesota. Saruchi is in Minnesota. We've got a lot of people around. If you want to hang out, we can figure that out. We could do some really cool massive photo shoot. Wouldn't that be fun? We'll do the whole steal a castle thing.
Yeah, steal a castle.
Yeah. Here. Represent. That's right. Dave's gang, Minnesota. Thanks for coming, Dave. David. Anyway, Julie, can we hear you now? Nope.
No.
Do you want to leave and come back? Maybe that'll fix it. Sometimes it works for me. So just as a reminder, does anyone have a pic of Joe's Al Capone tattoo? I do. I will get it for you right now.
Yes.
I just have to find it. Let me share my screen instead. I'll pull it up here in a second. Yeah, there were a few things I couldn't include in the video simply because of the length of the song. But all of these pictures are also in the Facebook group in the link that Megan posted. So you can go see all of those. Let me find it here. Oh, she's back.
Well, it depends. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Excellent.
I'm trying to find this picture of Joe's tattoo to show. Of Al Capone. He had this, he had this really old website where it was joecapone.net, and it was, this was the login screen, and that was his tattoo. I'm sorry, I can't make that bigger. There we go. He had the Giants and the Godfather and Batman on there, and so anyway, but that's his tattoo. I do have a picture of it on his arm as well. I just have to find that. So bear with me a sec. If you want to go ahead, Julie, I'll find it after she's done. Put it up.
I just wanted to point out I wore my Joe Capone commemorative shirt that he would have really loved.
That's right. Touchdown. Baseball. Sports ball.
Sports ball. Can't help but feeling like this is some sort of intervention group. Hello, my name is Julie Schumacher, and I was friends with Joe Capone. This isn't easy for me to sit in front of a camera and speak. Many of you are streamers, and like Megan, I can't believe just sitting in front of a camera and knowing what to say or having it in your head. I've had an increasingly difficult time even leaving my house the last few years. So speaking to a bunch of people that I don't know is pretty terrifying.
Nope, it's just me and Trey. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right?
Yeah, don't. Yeah, we're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
Dealing with emotions is even more horrifying, and I found myself busting out crying all week with little provocation. So if it seems like I'm reading from a script, it's because I am. As I said in the Discord chat this past week, Cap wasn't one to suffer fools and fakers gladly. So I do have that assurance that the friends and community he gathered is a safe one to speak with. Going through some anxiety over this week over what to say, I started to tell myself, just do your best. And then I heard Cap's voice interrupt me and say, and if they don't like it, well, fuck them. I'm thankful to all of you for holding this space for one another tonight and to share what's in your hearts and minds. One thing I've noticed this week while getting to hear your stories and memories is Cap really had a storyline going on with each and every one of us. Somehow he kept all the inside jokes straight and developed a unique relationship with so many individuals, and that's amazing. Most recently, you'd see him promote and rate his friends on Twitch or even invite you into his live stream. He wasn't always excited about fielding the million technical questions of how do I when you'd ask how to get started, but he would always help, even if it was begrudgingly. And then he'd turn into your biggest fan and cheerleader. He even tried to get me to live stream my doodling and art, which didn't get too far when I realized I may have to actually interact with people. The one time I did give live streaming a try, about an hour later, he'd already taken clips and made me a promo video. And I love watching this video because he pretty much captured my personality, like I hear he did with so many other people in the content that he created for you. And he was brilliant like that. It makes me smile every time, and I'd like to share with you what he made.
I'm ready.
Because the audio is amazing.
The audio is truly Caponus.
It's Caponus audio.
Doodly doodly burb. Burb doodly burb doodle. Burb 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 doodle. Burbity burb 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 burb.
Whoops. I didn't mean to show it again.
It's totally worth it. I met Joe a little over 10 years ago through Emily's Facebook posts. He was a guy playing off of my silly responses with an inexhaustible wit, a sarcasm sharp enough to match mine, and an apparent shared love of trying to annoy Emily. I immediately decided we needed to be friends because there's very little in this world more satisfying than finding a worthy and irreverent co-conspirator. In 10 years, there hasn't been a week, hardly ever a day, that has gone by without sharing some sort of meme, comment, his hamster songs, live stream promos. Once he even got his cat Pedro to sing me happy birthday. I admit I may have taken it for granted at times, shutting off the notifications on some of the group chats. This week, my brain has been nothing short of an absolute asshole, reminding me each morning that I won't hear from Cap today. It's not a mystery to most of you that Joe has not been feeling well for quite some time, as much as he may have played it down. We sent him care packages a month ago to try and help lift his spirits, get him to take care of himself. Japanese candy, beef jerky, every weird flavor of marshmallow Peeps we could find. Soup, cold medicine, vitamin C, vapor rub. I even thought, you know what Joe needs? An essential oil diffuser. I thought maybe I could guilt him into using it somehow. I sent him a sound effect toy you could shake to replace the didgeridoo that we affectionately referred to as the butt trumpet. We incessantly begged him to sound the horn during his live stream, and he'd begun to say he was too out of breath to play it. And as his physical health got worse, his mental wellness followed. He stopped streaming on May 6th. When I asked him on May 31st when he was going to stream again, he said, "Just taking a break because I don't feel motivated." A week ago today, I was messaging with Emily about not hearing back from Cap within the last day or so. We compared notes and saw that not only had he been silent for a few days, but messages were now going unseen as well. We decided that if there was nothing by morning, we were going to call a wellness check-in on him. That's an awkward situation when you're friends with someone across the country. I proceeded to text and message him on every social media platform I could, letting him know that we'd be calling in a wellness check if we didn't hear from him by morning. And we didn't have to make that call, and was able to get a hold of some local friends of his. By midday Tuesday, she called to let me know they found Joe. It goes without saying, but it's been a rough week for all of us. During a long drive on Wednesday, I started breaking down again, and I could hear him saying, "Oh, quit the crying already." And it made me smile. He always liked to act gruff and grumpy when we'd show him some love. It's been uncomfortable and awkward to have so many emotions. I felt guilty, wondering if I could have done more or done better. I felt angry. I felt sadness. I felt upset with myself for feeling a sense of loss. To feel like I've lost something feels like a selfish disservice. Like I appreciated Cap only for what he served to me in my life. But I realized instead that my sense of loss was telling me what I valued and honored about Joe Capone. I'm honored to have known a friend who would do everything in his power to promote and support the people he believed in. And I feel lucky to have been among those people. I'm thankful to have had a friend I could go to at the very depths of ugly hopelessness, depression, and anger, and who would sit there in that swamp with me without judgment. I'm blessed to have had a friend that I could count on to always have my back. Joe was one of the realest friends you could ever hope to have. So thanks, Cap, for bringing us all together tonight. It's been an honor. We love you.
To Caponus. Yeah, I think. Thank you, Julie, for your words. I'm sorry. And thank you for the well-timed toast, the Medros. Yeah, thanks for coming on and sharing that. You did it. You did it. Cap would be proud. Oh, the tattoo. I'm sorry, I nearly forgot. I have it right here. Let me just screen share the right screen. That would be nice.
And thank you, Julie Capone.
Yes, thank you, Julie Capone. Okay. Here we go. There it is. So, yeah, there. And then you could see the whole thing. It said 1973, which was the year he was born. And Capone above it. Yep.
I may not have known Cap, but the amount of love and the amount of just beauty that he's brought, I just have to say an incredible thank you to everybody here. I really have to give it up to Emily. Thank you. You were the mastermind of organizing this. Thank you to literally everybody that's here. Thank you to those who shared their words, who are on stream. Thank you for those who are sharing your words in the group and continuing to share Cap's message of supporting everybody and making sure that everybody is heard, seen, supported, and feels loved.
Yeah, and to the Capone family for understanding how terribly we wanted to show our love and support for Joe and his family. That's what Sarucci said. Absolutely. Does anybody else want to say anything? I don't want to... I had a plan for the end of tonight, and we're about there. but I just wanted to make sure everybody had a chance to say something in the chat, or I can read a few things. Joe had a friend. Oh no, did he just go offline? Oh no. Joe has a friend who is trying really hard to get to affiliate. He's a new streamer, and he was online. I was hoping we could rate him and just blow his mind, because like he's had 7 or 8 watchers at a time, and we'd be bringing like 50 some, and I thought that'd be really great. And I thought it would really boost it, but he's gone. I'm gonna message him quick and see if he can get back on. Go stream again. We're going to raid you. There. Hopefully he'll get that message and go back and stream again, because that would be amazing. I think Cap would love that. And so please stick around. I want to be able to help do something Cap would do, and help one of his friends that he would definitely want that. So stick around. I hope he'll message me back, or at least see it. I don't know if I have another way to get a hold of him other than Discord, but I sent the message. Hopefully he I wonder if I just spam his Discord. Hurry.
Hey.
Yeah, right. I know. Just so you know, it's I'm gonna tell you the channel so you can at least follow it. Oh man, what is it? It's is it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure I get the right channel. It's OOG37. Sorry. Thank you for your patience there, guys. Did he? No, he didn't write back. Dang. Okay. I was hoping. OOG37 is his. Okay, another toast. Yeah, I didn't mean to have like a bunch of bad radio there, but I really wanted. Ooh, no, it wasn't him.
Dang. Okay.
He's. I apologize about the stream being down. Apparently. Okay. We'll give it a second. If you want, I went ahead and put the video I played tonight on our YouTube channel. If you want, we can play it again now. If you want to see it again. Another toast to Joe Capone. Maybe that would. Thanks for all the toasts, by the way, everyone. I'd have the worst headache if I wasn't being reminded to drink water. Yeah, I don't know about you, but when I cry, I get a headache too, and it's rough. I just kind of have to preemptively Advil up. So, man, I'm watching for him. Anyhow, why don't I go ahead, unless you have an objection, why don't I go ahead and play the video again so we can watch it? I don't know what else to do, because I don't want to not try to raid him. So, okay, thank you guys. Stick around though, because I really want to try to get that done. Let me pull up the video again. Sorry, Trey, you were going to say something?
No, I will admit that I'm not fantastic with words, but there's a song that I keep coming back to quite a bit. I'm not going to sing it, but I would like to at least read the lyrics of the first limerick before we get back to the video. I've been heavily inspired to be listening to folk tunes and that sort of thing, and so this is The Parting Glass. Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night, and joy be with you all.
Would you sing it with a hamster filter?
4-way. Dab it.
No.
No. That's great. All right, I've got the video pulled up, so we'll just play that again until we... Ready?
Yes.
Where are the drugs?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry. It's my Batman. Batman voice. I always have to do it when I use that transmog.
Scared the shit out of me.
You know this is getting close. Ready, Columbo? Here we go. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Tip me over and pour me out. I'm a very special teapot, yes, it's true. Here's an example of what I can do. I can turn my handle inside into a spout. Tip me over and pour me out. Blow me, 'cause it's a peanut butter play call, but don't tell Weird Paul. It's his melody, it's his music, and I'm using it. The peanut butter play call. Don't tell Weird Paul. There you go. Clip that. Send that to Weird Paul. Still waiting for that cease and desist. Scoreboard, baby! But Modern Romantic Magazine wants me to sound the horn.
Have the power to make more good. And the all-new Sportage Turbo Hybrid. Kia. Movement that inspires.
Butt trumpet. My old tag team partner on the radio, Tom the Chokester Motley, used to be in love with Luna Vachon. Every week when we do the Chokehold radio show, Tom would always dedicate about 5 minutes of the show professing his love for Luna. Old McCapo had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
Oh, you're good, sniper. It happens.
Up top to Frasley. Ho, ho, ho! Another end zone to end zone catch. 72 yards for the touchdown. Frazzled, dazzled, puddin' pie. Scores again because she is fly. Alright, motherfuckers, I'm doing a sleep stream. I want to see those donations roll in.
Now we're back.
Minimum $15. You donate more than $50, I'll take my pants off for you. Although you won't be able to see any skin because I'm all corrupted and shit.
So what does everyone want to talk about tonight?
Oh, I got turned into a frog! What the fuck? 96 season. I was sitting down in the end zone, on the south end zone, very first row, in the end zone. And Robert Brooks caught a touchdown, ran it in right in front of where I was sitting. And I was yelling at him, giving him the verbal once-over about how much he sucked. And he turned around and he looked at me and he grabbed his ass cheek and ran off. So every time I see him, I have to have a laugh about that.
Caponus. Thank you. Is that really what it... Okay. If I must. Capone with the S for her heroic flair, but most call me Cap. Okay, good. Okay, I'll call you Cap.
So I could get into the Modern Romantic magazine podcast doing that reading, right? Because that's technically romanticism. Oh, beloved Capone, I love you so much. You are such a sexy man. Come save me from the Hades.
Get out of here! That's winning the retro. There you go. That was for you, Joe Capone. That was for you, my brother. There it is. New York, 3513. I'm screenshotting this shit. I'm taking a picture of this one. This was for Joe. Right there. We're going to have it right there. Bam. There it is. Oh, man. Right there.
There's a Fortrell, polyester, leather, wool, and tweed. Just a Visa or MasterCard is all you need. We got every color, we got every shade. We're located next to Willie's Fun Arcade. We got every fabric that was ever made. But I'm known in this city as the king of suede.
I always know when they're going to.
King of suede. I'll always be king of suede. I'll always be king of suede.
Yeah, it's time to wrap up this week's edition of the Small Creatures Sunday Serenade with one of my favorite songs from B. Snyder and Twisted Sister. Sing along if you know the words. How long I wanted this dream to come true, and as it approaches, I can't believe I'm through. I've tried, I've tried for life, yes, life I thought I knew. Oh, it's a price we gotta pay, and all the games we gotta play, makes me wonder if it's worth it to carry on. 'Cause it's a game we gotta lose, so it's a life we gotta choose, and the price is our own life until it's done. Time seems to have frozen, but the mind can't be fooled. As the days pass, I discover, and destiny got me rolled. Hard times, hard times for the price. Yes, the price I thought I knew. You know it's the price we gotta pay, and all the games we gotta play, makes me wonder if it's worth it to carry on. Because it's a game we gotta lose, so it's a life we gotta choose, and the price is our own life until it's done. Keep on carrying on, people. Stay safe. Don't be dumb. Don't put your family and friends at risk. I love you. We're all gonna make this shit together. Make it out okay on the other side. And before I start rambling on too much, I think I'm gonna just and say goodbye. The price, baby.
So for those of you who may have just tuned in or weren't here at the beginning, I submitted Joe's name to be on the Artemis 1 with NASA to fly around the moon. So his name will be on the ship that flies around the moon, which I thought was awesome that we're able to do that. So hooray. Also, there were like a bunch of toasts that happened during that video. So I'm probably just going to end up finishing my water. I don't have much left. So we have good news, and that is that OG, he got my message. OG got my message. He's on just playing Zelda to kind of wait for us to help him out. Trey, did you have any last any last things you wanted to share?
To the Capone family, thank you. This was incredible. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. I probably don't just speak for myself, but it really touches my heart to see how many people cared and loved him. And yeah. Do you want to be known as Trey Capone or Stage Mom Capone?
Both.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, yes, love you, Cap Fam. I'm going to read my list one more time because I feel like that's, I thought that was good. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. It's about Cap, not me. Thank you. I'm so glad I was able to. And the only reason I was able to is because of Joe Capone. He taught me how to use Twitch. Like, I wouldn't have maybe figured it out. Twitch to me was very complicated. And especially like you're running through like OBS and all this. And obviously I'm not perfect at it because you can see my screen has had issues tonight. This is a lot to coordinate. But yeah, thank you everybody. The list was to keep Cap alive by carrying with us what he taught us about friendship. And that was be fiercely loyal. Be a big softie. Try the new flavor of Peeps, Mountain Dew, PopTarts, or whatever, even if you think you won't like it. Another toast to Joe Capone.
I have no water left.
You know, like, drink your tears. I'm just kidding. Cheer for the Giants and wear blue. Laugh big. Love big. And the most important, shamelessly, openly, and wildly support and cheer on your friends. Drink the tears. Okay, ready? I was gonna do that and like my tongue is not as long. Anyhow. Alright, we're tongues out for Joe Capone. I'm glad we can laugh. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and thank you so much for coming, Weird Paul. I appreciate you being here. Cap loved you, man. He loved all of you guys. Like, I know all of these names because of him. And him talking about how much he loved all of you. And I feel like I'm yelling and I'm sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and read.
For anybody who is not a Twitch streamer, you don't have to do anything on your side. Just stick around.
Yeah, stay put.
Stay put. Again, thank you. This was incredible.
We got through it, guys. We got through it.
Please, if you have something that is soft and squishable, that is preferably not a tissue box, I would recommend going and hugging it. Please get tissues as needed. Please go fill up on your water.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh no!
Uh-oh.
I bumped him.
Oh.
Here's Huckleberry. I didn't think he was down here, but he is. You're okay. I'm sorry.
Huckleberry.
Here's Huckleberry. This is the dog Cap wanted to steal. No, I'm sorry. Cap loved you too. Okay. That's his puppy, though. Yeah. This is Cap's puppy, Huckleberry. Aw. All right. We're a couple seconds from rating.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I feel like I've said thank you, because I cannot say thank you enough for joining us and for being part of this. This was the best, worst night.